Hello there, dear students. I hope you are all keeping well. Happy New Year, and I wish that you are having a good time so far. In this video, we will be discussing the way you should write your essays in both culture and literature. Of course, culture is for all the groups, and literature is only for the groups that I am concerned with, namely group 2, 4, 5 and 6. And this video does also apply to the exams because you will be writing in the same fashion, so I need you to really pay attention and try to consider the details. Starting with culture, so the first thing you should be considering before writing anything is to outline your ideas. And by outlining, I mean that you need to organize your ideas or themes that you want to deal with in the essay in a systematic way. Outlining your essay will help you know what exactly the point you want to mention, and also it facilitates for you the writing process. When you outline, for example, it will be easier for you to follow up the ideas and better construct a coherent piece of writing. You will not risk in doing so in repeating yourself or repeating the same ideas. Once your ideas are well organized and well expressed, you move to the second step, which is writing. Writing an essay is not difficult as you may think, because as long as you respect the rules, you will be able to represent a very good composition. What I have noticed when I was correcting your paragraphs from last year, at least most of you, is that you forget about the form. The form of the essay is very important, and sometimes it's paramount than the information itself. And generally, when we assess the essay, 12 points are on the form and 8 points should be on the content, because the content can be known, but the thing that we care about as teachers is the way you will be representing those ideas in your own style. What I have noticed when I was correcting your essays from last year is that most of you have forgotten about the introduction, starting by the main idea directly. So generally, any essay should at least represent 5 points. The first main point is the introduction. The introduction has to be interesting, has to be able to grab the attention of the reader, and of course it represents the main idea that you will be discussing in the body through the thesis statement. And then, before I speak about the body, the conclusion is also important, because the way you will be closing is very important. And please make sure that your introduction and conclusion are the same in length, at least. Speaking of the body now, the body has to at least represent 3 main ideas, 3 main paragraphs. In every paragraph there is an idea that is different from the other ideas, and through the topic sentence you are mentioning the theme you are going to discuss, or the idea you are going to discuss, and to support this you will be needing a supporting idea which can be represented in an example, or maybe an event that happened, something that is concrete, as if you are not just bringing ideas or just mentioning ideas for the sake of mentioning them. In the way you are giving supporting ideas or example, you are showing the reader that you can be discussing things and you are really trying to analyze things. Now, the 5 points you will be mentioning, of course, are the introduction, the conclusion, and the body in its 3 main topics. Now, let's speak about the tense you will be choosing to write a historical essay. Generally, when you are speaking of history, you are narrating, so automatically the type of essay you will be applying here or adapting here is the narrative essay. In it, you will be dealing with events that took place in the past, and for this you need generally the past simple or sometimes the present perfect if you are discussing results. But generally, in order not to mislead yourself and get confused, it's preferable to go for or opt for the past simple tense. The third step you will be doing is revising, editing, and proofreading. You will be obliged to read and reread, or in other words, proofread your text, because it's important to read out loud and know your ideas and listen to yourself reading. It will help you better change words, maybe give other synonyms, use different transition words or link words. It will help you, if you read out loud, to avoid repetition, to avoid redundancy, and pay attention to grammar and accuracy of tense use, for example. Of course, in dealing with the narrative essay, you will need to narrate the story. In history, we are as if we are narrating a story, but you will need to discuss ideas or things from time to time. So make sure that in your narration you are not going dull or boring to the reader, because it's very important that your reader still attentive and interested. There is something else that I want to speak about here and warn you about in your writing. Be careful to start just narrating events about Queen Mary or Queen Elizabeth or King James, forgetting in so doing the main idea that you are asked to discuss. You may write a good essay describing Mary's life and her relationship to her parents, forgetting in so doing the main idea, which is her myth as Bloody Mary. So just make sure that you are stick to the point that you want to mention. It's very important. Most students forget about this and they are out of theme, out of subject, without even knowing. Moving now to the literature essay. Of course, you will be following the same steps, but the literature essay is somehow different because you will be discussing and analyzing information critically. So to do this, you will be needing the present simple tense, because you will be kind of tackling facts and ideas about the story. You will be following the same steps, outlining, and then you will be writing your essay in 5 points: the introduction, the conclusion, where you give your opinion or you can summarize, and the body. You will be dealing with 3 main topics with supporting ideas. And similarly, in your literature essay, you will be revising, editing, and proofreading, paying attention to spelling mostly because it's very important, grammar, tense use, indentation, punctuation, transition words, etc. But at the same time, you forget about the main idea that you should discuss and analyze, and the main question that you're asked to deal with in an expository way, not in a narrative way, because if you are narrating, you will be just retelling the plot or summarizing the plot. So you will be needing to understand the question first and try to underline the main words, the main diction, the main key points that the question is requiring. Not to fall in the same trap from last year when you were writing the plot summary thinking that you were discussing the question related to the essay. I hope that this is clear. This is all for now. I hope you find this useful. If you have any question, please do not hesitate to contact me on my email address or comment on the comment section below. I hope you all the best, inshallah. I thank you for your attention and you watching this. Keep safe and salam.